to the Dawgs podcast with your hosts, Blake Reneker, Justin Charles, and Josh All.
What's up, Browns fans? Welcome back to another episode of the Dawgs podcast. Coming to you virtually with another Dog Pack Discord preview episode, previewing the upcoming matchup with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We want to say hello to some possibly new listeners. Maybe you are checking this out on the Big Play app. This is our first episode that is going to premiere on the Big Play app. We're super excited to be joining these guys and thankful that they're going to put our content out on their app. This is a little bit different setup than what we normally have. So if this is the first time you checking us out and you're wondering, are they just doing this from Discord? Why would Big Play let them do this? This isn't our normal episode. You know, we do some studio stuff. We look pretty professional most of the time, but it's kind of the gist of this. These preview episodes, we stream straight from our Discord. We let our Dog Pack members come in, get their thoughts on the upcoming opponent, ask us questions, talk to us about the Browns in general. So this is a good chance for us as a podcast to really let some of like our closest fans, the Dog Pack, really get their thoughts and get their fingerprints on the show. If it's something you're interested in, you just head to jointhedogs.com to become an official Dog Pack member, and you can be a part of these episodes going forward. We'd love to have you. Everybody here is super cool guy or gal. We got some girls. You know, we're all inclusive on the Dawgs podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. Make sure you tap the notification bell so you don't miss any of the new content that we're putting out. If you prefer to just listen to the episode, you can find us on Apple, Spotify, or Google. If you want to get just thoughts and intros on the show, you don't want to, come in and talk live with us, you can just head to thedogspodcast.com, tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. We'll play your voicemails on our reaction episodes. Those are usually live on YouTube, and those are always a good time. So again, that's thedogspodcast.com. Just tap leave voicemail on the drop-down menu. I went all out of order. If anybody who's watched a lot of episodes, they're like, man, he's really shaking it up on today. This isn't his normal order for the opening. So if I forgot anything, I apologize to everybody, but that's going to be the opening today. So hopefully everybody had a good Thanksgiving. I didn't get to do the last episode, had some stuff going on at home, but hopefully you guys all had a good holiday, gearing up for Christmas. But I'm excited to come back and talk Browns football, despite the fact that we only have 3 wins. We just played an entertaining game, and if the Browns are going to lose a bunch of football games, at least they're going to be entertaining. Obviously, we got the big win over the Steelers Thursday night. The last time we played them, we're coming off a big win, and, one of their better offensive performances, and it seems like forever again last week. So I think this will be another hotly contested matchup. We struggle on the road in Pittsburgh, so this will be a test to see what Browns team is going to show up. What do you guys think? What are you looking for out of the Browns this week?
As far as what to expect, I really have a lot of expectations, but I'm having fun doing this right now. You know what I mean? We went from pretty much despair, I don't think I can watch this football team anymore, to even when we lose games in really dysfunctional ways like we did on Monday night, I had a great time watching that game. And now for the most part, as long as Jameis is in there and he's kind of just tossing that thing around, I'm enjoying this. The team looks bought back in. They look like they're having fun. And for a team that's 3-9, it doesn't look like they're a 3-9 team on the sideline. They look like they're having a good time. They look like they're bought in. Obviously, we're on the Jameis Winston experience right now. We don't know what we're going to get week to week. Are we going to get the guy that, looked pretty terrible against the Chargers? Or are we going to have the guy that, is just out there throwing it all over the place? Even though that was a rough performance for him on Monday night, you threw 3 interceptions. It's a great defense. I don't think
this call that a rough performance where he threw 500 yards.
Well, I know, 497 and 3 interceptions. That's what I'm saying. It's a crazy historic, stat line when you look at it. But isn't it not a very much Jameis Winston number? 4 tutties, 3 interceptions, whole crap ton of yards. But there's some points in there. There's throws that you're like, man, I wish we had that one back. There's always going to be those with him, but I'm having fun, and I expect them to play him tough in Pittsburgh. Are we going to go in there and punch him in the mouth and blow him out? I don't think so. But if we can sit in there and have some good drives, and the defense can get a couple stops and maybe even a couple turnovers, who knows? Maybe we shake this thing up and we, knock them off again.
Yeah, I think whenever you've got a quarterback that's capable of putting up 500 or 400 plus yards, and he did that against the Broncos. We talked about it last week. They were like a top 3 defense. If he can go out there and just shred them on the road, I mean, I don't really. There's no defense that we go up against that I'm like, oh boy, I don't know about this one. I feel like he's just going to go out there and be himself. I know, you talked about you don't know which Jameis we're going to get, but I'd argue the Chargers game was his only bad game. I mean, we haven't won, but he had a great game against the Saints. We just couldn't stop Taysom Hill on defense. They destroyed us. He had a great game in Denver. Just a couple pick sixes. Our defense wasn't very good. I mean, we gave up 400 yards to a rookie quarterback leading an offense out there. Our defense has been pitiful on the road, and that's basically my main concern going in is what's the defense going to be like?
Kenny.
I was going to say the biggest thing that I've seen, I even took a look all the way back in 2003, and that's the last time that we beat Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh, and took a look at a couple of what's that?
It's the regular season, right? Because we beat them in Pittsburgh in the playoffs. Correct.
Yeah. Good point. It's a regular season win. That's the last time we beat them regular season wise. Last time we actually beat them in swept them was 1988. And the common theme has to be time of possession. We won. Actually, this year, all their losses, they lost the time of possession. The other thing is turnover battle. Most, except for the Cowboys, most teams this year that beat them, which is only 3, have won the turnover battle. The other thing is when we beat them last time, they had 2 interceptions and a fumble. We had 1 interception. So we won that turnover battle. And I didn't look all the way back to 88 and have that time, but those are the 2 things that we have to do. I like the point that Josh made. The defense got to show up. I was excited last time. Jameis was throwing around. I was like, yeah, we matched their intensity. I had to dial that back a little bit after we had the episode last week. And I had to think to myself, I was like, whoa, did the defense actually match the intensity, or they just kind of at least tackled them wherever they were? Well, yeah, it was too late down the field. We were getting first downs. They were getting first downs, or they were going to the house. So it didn't match that intensity. The other thing is there's a bit of a blueprint that they put there. They basically took the pocket. They moved Bo Nix over away from Myles Garrett. So somebody on the other side of Myles Garrett has got to show up and show out. And that's got to be Oko, man, because he's the veteran. Make your money, Oko, and show up, buddy.
So for me, this game is a hard game to predict, because if you look at the last game where we beat them on Thursday night, they beat us in every facet of the game. If you guys remember correctly, I deleted a lot of the screenshots I took after we did that last episode. So but it was they lost the turnover battle to us last time. We had 3 turnovers. They only had 1. We had a pick and 2 fumbles. They had 1 Russell Wilson fumble. They outgained us. They were better than us. We were 1 of 10 on third down. They were 7 of 16. It was a game where we usually lose. We go, how did we lose that? And I think it was teams since the last 20 years were 0-67 in a game with all the numbers that the Browns had, and then we won. So that tells me that doesn't bode well for this game. I'm not trying to be a negative Nancy coming off what was a fun game, but that's probably not going to happen again in Pittsburgh. If we lose the turnover battle 3-1 again, if they go 7 of 16 on third down and we go 1 of 10 on third down, we're going to get slack.
No, I don't think that's being negative, man. That's being since 2003 realistic.
Yeah. So it was one of those games where, yes, we beat them last time, but if you just looked at it on paper, you didn't watch the game and we just showed you blind numbers, you would have swore the Pittsburgh Steelers beat us in that game. But what helped that game was the defense especially in the first half, Myles Garrett was dominant. And it set the tone. And I think another huge key for the Browns in that game was that Nick Chubb got 20 carries. So Jameis Winston was 18 of 27 for 219 yards and a pick, and we won. And he just played a game where he threw for 500 yards and 4 touchdowns, and we lost because we just don't ever try to run the ball. We didn't run the ball great against the Pittsburgh in this first game. They got 20 carries for 59 yards, 3 yards a carry. From Ford had 4 carries for 19 yards, and Jameis Winston had 3 carries for 7. We averaged 3.1 yards per carry, but we were committed to it. Okay, and we went 4-4 on fourth down, which helped us be able to sustain some drives. But you can't have Jameis throw 60 times. If Jameis throws 60 times against the Steelers, first of all, he's going to get sacked 10 times, and he's going to turn the ball over some more. And it's just we have to. And if it's not Chubb, because he's not Nick Chubb right now, and we got to hand the ball off some. Even though I don't want to start every drive 1st and 10, we have to find a way to at least have some essence of a running game, or TJ Watt will have 10 sacks because we as Browns fans chirped so hard after that last game. People have been giving him so much shit since that last game. He's going to come out like a man possessed. Okay, playing at home, he's going to have a chip on his shoulder. He's going to have a point to prove. If we drop back 60 times, he's going to feast. Have to run the ball even if it's only for 3 yards a carry. We have to. This is going to be a grind it out game. We're not going to win this game. We're not scoring 45 points. This is going to be a grind it out, all control possession. Don't turn the ball over. Don't let TJ Watt have 4 straight sacks. Don't let Jameis throw 60 times and throw 3 picks. Like, that's how this game is won. That's just, in my opinion, because he should have lost the first game. I mean,
the only thing that kept us in there, the one thing that we did win is we got 4 sacks. You're absolutely right. They had 2 fumbles. They lost 1, and our sack rate was 12%. Theirs was 3.6. They only got 1. They lost 22 yards in that. And based on everything else that you said, like our passer rating was a little bit better, but everything else they dominated in. And that's got to change. And I like what you're saying about the run game. That's going to help Jameis Winston out because even like you said in the last game, had they run any extra time off the clock, because a lot of the times, if you guys can think, this game against the Broncos felt like forever. And the reason is because every time we cut the ball, we ran out of bounds and the clock wasn't running a lot. And so if we run the ball, number one, we all want it for Chubb. Number 2, it just helps Jameis Winston out.
You can't get in like you said, they only sacked us 1 time. Well, you can't get sacked if you're running the ball. So it helps out your offensive line. I mean, if you look at some of the numbers, Russell Wilson was 21 of 28 for 270 and a touchdown. I'm pretty sure on 3rd down, he was like some crazy high percentage for 100-some yards in his touchdown. It's like we did everything wrong in that game and somehow won. And it was like an aberration. We're going to have to come in with a different game, a different mentality and mindset in this game if we want to have a chance to win on the road against a team that's playing for something and us who we're just trying to play the role spoiler.
This episode is brought to you by Boden Sports. Browns fans, it's Christmas time, and I don't know about you guys, but I am horrible at gift giving, and I never know what the heck to buy for people, and it honestly makes my holiday season just a little more stressful. But this year, Boden Sports is making my holiday shopping much easier. Head over to bodensports.com/dogs and use promo code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your entire holiday order. Boden has awesome sports gear for the athletes in your life, basketballs, footballs, baseball, and softball equipment. Not to mention if you or anyone in your life plays pickleball or you're interested in learning how to play, Boden has all the pickleball gear you need. And they also have tons of fun backyard games like badminton sets, volleyball sets, bocce, croquet, horseshoes. They even have Viking chess, which I'm a little afraid to admit, but I don't even know what that is. So someone in the comments, let me know what Viking chess is. but it still looks like fun. And don't forget the Custom Dawgs Podcast Perfection Team Issue Leather Football with our logos on it. You can find those at thedawgspodcast.com/football. But for all the other awesome Boden Sports gear, get over to bodensports.com/dogs. That's BADEN sports.com/dogs to get 10% off your entire Christmas order. Take advantage of this deal and be the champion of your holiday shopping with Boden Sports. You guys want to start getting people up here? Truth's got his hand up.
Let's do it.
We can get
Absolutely.
Brad on up here, see what's going on with Mr. Moneymaker.
20 wins. Cavs got 20 wins.
Now, the Cavs are pretty good.
About it. Steelers game. I don't know. I like when we played them, on Thursday night. To me, we were pretty evenly matched. I don't know. I mean, obviously the weather played a little bit of a role, but they both were passing the ball. So Jameis does throw those interceptions, but Russell Wilson also definitely likes to underthrow guys and throw interceptions as well. And the one thing that I've been seeing is even though he's had 45 concussions, Denzel Ward's been playing with his hair on fire. And a lot of guys are regretting throwing his way recently. So I'm expecting our defense to hopefully step up a little bit more. I don't even know what the weather report is for Sunday in Pittsburgh.
I pulled it up. So
What?
Browns at Steelers, it's forecast is clear, 45 degrees. No chance of precipitation. It's going to be a sunny day. It's actually a pretty nice football day, I think.
Oh, there we go. Well, that's a good opportunity for Jameis to air that ball out a little more. Now, Pittsburgh defense is definitely stingy, especially at home. So I expect that to be a little bit of a issue for us here and there, especially, I don't know what our problem is. I don't know if it's the offensive line, the scheming of the run plays or whatever, but we are just in this drought of just awful run game. And I don't know, I'm going to say 24-21 Browns. We'll go with that.
All right. So you got the Browns
Let's go.
breaking that trend to losing over there in Pittsburgh. I did want to mention real quick, he brought up something about injuries and stuff, and I was looking at the injury reports. Alex Highsmith did have a full practice today. So it sounds like, or it's looking like, Watt's going to have his running mate on the other side.
From what I saw, the whole injury report, everybody's healthy for them.
Yeah, so that doesn't bode well. He says, do you think we're going to limit Pickens? He's been going off recently. Josh, you said he'll probably have one or two big plays. I definitely think he'll have one or two big plays. Maybe this is odd, but a guy I'm worried about in this game is Jaylen Warren, because he doesn't, I feel like, I don't know, I don't watch enough Pittsburgh games, but he doesn't do anything against anybody. But against the Browns, he kills us. We seem to always do a pretty good job against Najee, and then this guy comes in and we can't tackle him. He had 11 carries for 45 yards last time. Najee had 16 for 41. We bottled up Najee all game, but every time Jaylen Warren touched the ball, it's like we couldn't give him ground. He also had 3 catches for 19 yards. And then Justin Fields. I don't know if you guys remember, they brought him in for one drive and they went right down the field and scored. So they got a couple wrinkles. They're going to go back to that. And they brought Justin Fields in. They went down the field and scored. It's not even like Russell Wilson was having a bad game. And I thought, holy crap, if they leave Justin Fields in, we might not win this game, because we cannot stop a mobile quarterback. And you saw it against Denver. I mean, we didn't even get close to Bo Nix. So those are the things that concern me in terms of who we need to limit. Obviously, Pickens is like their big play guy, but some under the radar, Jaylen Warren always kills us. He always kills us.
McLaughlin killed us too. I totally get your Warren pick. Like that you're totally. We saw it on Monday night, and we'll probably see it again.
And the other receiver that worries me is Calvin Austin, because he's that smaller, shifty speedster that we saw it in the first game. He had 3 for 78 against us, along of 46. He led them in receiving. He had the longest pass. He's the type of guy that can get back behind our secondary, and we have a miscommunication or a breakdown in the secondary, and boom, Calvin Austin's just streaking down the field wide open, and probably going to be a touchdown.
I don't think he's practicing though, correct?
He came back today, full. Calvin Austin for concussion. Yeah, he was a full participant today.
I feel like our secondary does pretty decent against like the big body receivers. We shut down Mike Evans last year. We played Jamar Chase like pretty decent in his career. He's had, the one last time we played him, he had a good game against us. But this past game, Pickens had 4 for 48, but 31 of that was on one play. So he had, 3 catches for 17 yards the rest of the game. But like you said, Calvin Austin's the one who torched us. He averaged 26 yards a catch and had a touchdown. He had 3 for 78, and then Freiermuth had a good game, 4 for 59. So the defense, I didn't get to give my thoughts on the Broncos game, but to me, I was kind of driving home the point that the defense was playing well enough for us to win games earlier this year, but the offense was just not playing well. The defense is middle of the road at best right now. We don't cover as well as we should. We don't get pressure, and unless Myles gets a sack, that's about it. We never get pressure, and this defense, we're saying Martin Emerson has regressed, and obviously he probably has. But I also need to look further. Has he gotten way worse, or are we making it look worse because we don't ever get pressure on the quarterback anymore? Last year we only asked him to cover for a second or 2 tops, and this year he's got these guys all day. We're playing press man, 60% of the time. Guys are going to get open if you don't get any pressure on the quarterback. And all these quarterbacks that anymore can move around a little bit. So even if we do get through their initial protection, all they do is just move a little bit, and we don't do anything about it. And now you got guys who are press man coverage in the scramble drill. Well, that's even harder to cover them. So I don't know that I would have to go and watch all the tape and see how long we're asking everything to cover as opposed to are we getting pressure enough. But it feels to me like some of our secondary woes are because the defensive line is not getting home at nearly the rate that we expected them to, and that they did last year, at least in our home games. It's almost like teams have really adjusted to what we do up front, and we haven't figured out the counter to their counter.
You know what I think? I think Blake transported back to 2022, because this is the exact same conversation that we had. Our D-line couldn't do anything. They ran the ball up the middle too much, and Myles Garrett was the only one that could do anything, and our secondary couldn't communicate and got torched on big plays. And our offense with Jacoby Brissett, who was pretty good, was running the offense okay, except the one difference between now and 2022 is we could run the ball.
I'll say this. The defense, they're supposed to be the elite unit. They talk like they're the elite unit. They play with the swag like they're the elite unit of this team. Jameis Winston, as much as he's playing better than what our starter was, the fact of the matter is he is a backup quarterback. He has been for some years now. He is a backup quarterback in this league. You don't ask your backup quarterback to play perfect. You know what I mean? Like you ask what is your elite unit is supposed to carry you now, and the backup is just supposed to not lose you football games. And people will point to the last game, the Denver game, and say that Jameis lost it because he threw 3 picks and 2 of them were pick sixes. But my pushback on that is with 4 minutes to go, we had a lead and he had only thrown 1 interception. And if the defense steps up and they be the elite unit that they are supposed to be, Jameis isn't throwing 2 more picks because we're not throwing the ball. We're running the clock out, in a 3-minute offense. So the defense, to me, if we want to play spoiler going down the stretch, and we want to win this game, and we want to win some of these other games and spoil some team seasons, they're the unit that has to step up. The offense, we can't ask Jameis Winston to go out there and win a football game. He's not a franchise quarterback. He's not. He's a bridge quarterback at best, and he has been, since his last year starting in Tampa Bay. And I like the guy, and he can go out and sling it around and get you some yards and stuff. But there's a reason he's been a backup, for 8 years now or however long. And to ask during first 60 passes, that's just unrealistic. The defense is supposed to be the elite unit. They have to step up. That, to me, I put most of that last loss on the defense. And if we don't spoil these games going forward, it's going to be because of the defense.
Yeah, dude, I totally agree with you because, Winston's up on the podium today saying those turnovers aren't me. Yeah, they are, bro. You've been in the league for like 10 years. It's like me pounding right now being Denny Green going, Winston is who we thought he is. The defense isn't who we thought it is. They're the ones that need to be there. And I 100% agree with what you're saying.
The reason I brought up the running game earlier also is the last time Jameis got extended playing time as a starter, we've talked about it a bunch of time on the show. I think it was 14 touchdowns to three picks, or 12-3, something like that, in his stint as a starter before he got injured. What do they have down in New Orleans? They have Alvin Kamara. They had a running game. They weren't asking him to throw the ball 60 times. He was a game manager down there, and he managed the game. You have to limit his opportunities to throw interceptions. So that's why I'm saying, even if we're not running with much success, we got to figure it out. We have to figure out a way to run the ball some, because we cannot throw the ball 60 times again. It was fun, unless you just want it to be fun. If you actually want to try to win the game, we have to try to run the ball a little bit. You can't put your backup quarterback in that position. What other team asks their quarterback to go out and throw 60 times?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, nobody does that.
Kind of what you alluded to, and I think you even said earlier, 60 times, like you just said, yeah, that's fun, that's cool, but I don't think it's going to be nearly as fun in Pittsburgh trying to throw the ball 60 times if we try to go that route. So real quick, does anybody else here in the audience want to put your hand up, come up here on stage, ask us a question, or give us your thoughts on the team, the game coming up, or even the last game, or anything really? Anybody? Well, okay. Well, Brad's coming on back up. So I think we got the Brad show tonight.
I'm here and I'm square. You know what? I'm disappointed. I don't know where Andrew is, but I'm calling him out. I don't know where he's at, but it's probably sleeping somewhere, I'm sure. Anyways, so what player on this team, we'll say both sides of the ball, what players on both sides of the ball do you want to see come out and have a good game on Sunday?
You mean besides all of them?
I could take offense easy. For me, Nick Chubb. It's the revenge game. You're back in Pittsburgh. I think it'd just be poetic justice for him to just absolutely go crazy. Is he healthy enough to? Is he back? I don't think he's even close to anywhere like true form Nick Chubb, or if he'll ever get to that point. We're still waiting to see with that, but I would love for him to just come out and have like a $110 and 2 touchdowns. I feel is unrealistic saying that, you know what I mean? Just from what we've seen up until this point, that'd be somebody like I would love to see that. Defensively, man, I don't know. I feel like we're kind of looking for somebody. Especially, my big thing is like if we're gonna contain Najee and we're gonna contain Jalen Warren, somebody in the linebacker core has got to step up. I feel like we are still looking for the next Anthony Walker, that can kind of lead this defense as far as like be that, Mike guy and get everybody organized and shut down the run. I feel like we've almost kind of regressed back to, I know we're not Joe Woods defense anymore, but I feel like running backs can get a little loose on us. So I'll say Hicks.
This episode is sponsored by Omaha Steaks. Nothing delivers comfort and joy quite like the unrivaled quality and taste of Omaha Steaks. It's guaranteed perfection in every single bite. And right now, you can save on unforgettable gifts with 50% off site-wide at omahasteaks.com. Plus, score an extra $30 off with promo code DAWGS, DAWGS. With 5 generations of experience, Omaha Steaks consistently delivers the world's best steak experience, and the gifting experts at Omaha Steaks have made it easy to deliver the perfect gift with thoughtfully curated gift packages featuring gourmet favorites. From legendary steaks to mouthwatering desserts and more, save 50% off site-wide for a limited time at omahasteaks.com. Plus, our listeners get an extra $30 off with promo code DAWGS. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com, OMAHA steaks.com, and get an extra $30 off with promo code DAWGS. Minimum purchase may apply.
That does well against us. I don't like it's a Jalen Warren or a McLaughlin. We shut down Derrick Henry. We shut down Saquon Barkley. We shut down 2 of the 3 leading rushers in football this year. Those guys did nothing against us. It's like these receiving scat back type players that, and it's this defense. They're so aggressive. I don't know if they just get out of, anybody who plays football, it's heel depth and find the ball. I don't know if we just get too far upfield, create lanes for these guys, and they're quicker. But we don't stop quick backs very well. We don't stop quick receivers very well. We don't stop mobile quarterbacks very well. And we can't stop a jet sweep, a quick motion very well. It's like anybody that has any kind of lateral speed just kills this defense. And not having JOK definitely doesn't help in that department. Very fair. For me, if I'm looking at a defensive player that I'd like to have a really good game, I would like to see last year's version of Martin Emerson in a game. Especially after I feel like he got torched by Courtland Sutton over and over and over again. And that's kind of been a theme. He's kind of gotten picked on. Denzel's playing so crazy that they're just throwing the other way, and he's being exposed time and time again. I'd like to see a vintage Martin Emerson game from last year, kind of get him back on track, play with some swag. And then if I'm looking to the offensive side of the ball, I want to see Jerry Jeudy keep having good games, because I don't know if you guys talked about it on the reaction episode. He's having a great stretch of games right now. I think he went from 30th in the league to 5th in the league in receiving in just one game, because 230 some yards receiving. But I'm not going to call him a bona fide number 1 receiver yet, because I'm a Browns fan and I need to see it more than a 5-game stretch before I'm willing. We have a whole body of evidence that says he's not. And then we have a 5-game body of evidence where all we do is try to throw the ball. And it's somebody's got to catch it, and he just happens to be the number 1 option on these plays? Or is he this good? I like to think he's this good. I've thought he's looked solid all year since he's been here. We heard about him looking really good in training camp, but I want to see him stack good games the rest of the year. No fall off. I'd like to go into the off season feeling very confident about where he stands as a number 1. So if he can come out and have another good game against, an elite defense, that would do a lot to kind of help me with my nervous Browns fans' nerves. He did have a pretty good game. I mean, he had 6 for 85 the first time we played him on 6 targets. So he played well against them the last time, but keep stacking good games here for Jerry Jeudy. Help, put away some of the nervousness. Is this a flash in the pan thing, or can we come into next season going, Jerry Jeudy's a number 1 and we feel really good about that?
Yeah, so for me on offense, I'm just going to go real quick. Jermaine Afedi's got to have a good game, because he's got to handle Alex Highsmith so that, TJ Watt's not taking advantage of everything going on the other side. If Highsmith comes back in and starts wrecking Afedi, it's going to be a tough sledding for Jameis Winston, that Browns offense. And then on defense, let's get those pressures back up. Let's get Dalvin Tomlinson, another, what was it, Blake? Was it 10 pressures the last time against Pittsburgh? Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, if he can just get penetration, get some pressure up the middle on the quarterback, that just helps everything on the line and in the secondary. So those will be my 2 guys.
I'm thinking going on offense. There's 2 guys that had really good games, but I think they were kind of embarrassed. And number 1 would be Jameis Winston, because he had such an amazing game, and you're like, well, how can you pick him to bounce back? Well, I think those 2 pick sixes, if you listen to his press conference today, that really bugged him. That really stuck in his craw. And I think he really wants to redeem himself. The other guy is David Njoku. While he got 2 touchdowns, he could have confused him with a defensive back with all those batted balls that he did. Because I mean, it was tough, and you could look that he was super frustrated. And generally, if you feel like you got a little embarrassed on a primetime stage, you show up the next week. On defense, man, I really want to see Thornhill do something. I just don't know if he's ever going to play. And like he looked okay against last time he played the Steelers, so maybe that'll come again. But I'm just going to throw it out there, like, yeah, I'd like to see him play, but I don't know. His calf injury is just never ending.
If Juan Thornhill plays a good game, we'll give Canyon credit for speaking into existence, because that is not a guy who I'm counting having a super good game. But I think those were all pretty good answers, especially considering Brad just put us on the spot.
That's what these shows are all about.
But yeah. Do we want to do Michael Wood's been playing well too, right? This was his first game since tearing his Achilles, and I thought he played really well. Do we have any word on Cedric Tillman?
He
been
did
a
not practice.
DNP all week.
Yep.
So he's still going to be out. That kind of sucks.
Yep, that must be a nasty concussion.
But I guess if Elijah Moore can have another solid game, I feel like if Jeudy doesn't go for 235 or whatever it was, like we'd be talking about how great of a game Elijah Moore played against Denver. Yeah. I mean, I think he had like 10 or 11 for 111. The thing about Elijah Moore is he doesn't really ever drop the ball. Knock on wood. I hope I'm not jinxing him, but if you throw it to Elijah Moore and it's catchable, I feel like he catches it. And maybe his yards after the catch isn't crazy. Like he's not breaking a ton of tackles, but you need your number 2 / high end number 3. He just got to be a dependable guy that you know is going to be where he needs to be, and he's going to catch the ball. And I feel like ever since Jameis became the starter, Elijah Moore's played really under the radar good football for the Browns. So like I feel like that's been encouraging, because there was a time where we didn't know if Elijah Moore was even good. And I feel like for the first time in his career, he's at least playing with a quarterback who is competent in the passing game in terms of getting the ball out of his hands and getting it on time and on target. He played with Zach Wilson, then he played with a really bad Deshaun Watson. The guy hasn't really had a fair shake in his career yet in terms of playing with a good quarterback. And so for the first time in his career where he's played with a guy who can sling it around a little bit, he's playing good football.
He is.
I think all the pass catchers are. All of them. Look at Tillman. I know Tillman was like an opportunity because of the Cooper trade. But Tillman, until the concussion, Tillman looked like maybe he was what Jerry Jeudy has stepped into. You know what I mean? We thought maybe Tillman was that guy. And, and Elijah Moore is just the same thing with Winston. It's just he's elevated all the pass catchers.
Yeah, I remember talking about Elijah Moore when we traded for him, and we were looking at some of the deeper numbers and things, and he had I don't remember the number exactly, but he had a true catch rate in New York of like 93% or something or whatever. And it was like, wow, so this guy, if you're throwing him catchable balls, he's catching them. Like you just said, Blake, it's just with Zach Wilson, with Deshaun Watson, you're not getting many catchable passes. So it is really refreshing to see him have this resurgence.
Watch the like you said, all the pass catchers the last 5 games obviously have looked significantly better. I went from thinking this might be the worst wide receiving core in football to I feel like we have a pretty solid wide receiver core, especially some of these guys continue to play well. And if we add, an X factor kind of guy to this wide receiver core, they could be very proficient. So it's amazing what just getting the ball out of your hands on time and on target can do. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like Jameis is out here doing amazing things. He's just knowing where to go with the ball and throwing it on time, and he's throwing it where they can catch it. Deshaun's like the uncatchable ball rate was insane. So just knowing where to go with the ball and just getting it there on time in a catch radius that's possible. They're not diving at it or trying to pick it up off the ground. It's in their chest. It's making all of our guys look like NFL wide receivers again. And that feels good, because I'd much rather, if we're going to lose, which that's what we do this year, the people who are like, you guys are losers, you're just happy watching fun games. No, we're realists. We understand that's how far the barometer has dropped this year. I know we're not going to where we want to be going. I just still want to, at least if I'm going to watch and talk about this team, at least make it enjoyable. So if we're going to lose games, at least not watching us struggle to get 180 yards of offense. It makes it easier to watch.
Yeah, and let me say this too. I've been telling people this a lot this week. I'm so grateful that we got this opportunity with Jameis Winston for the back half of the season, because before that, we were talking about, is this going to be a full rebuild situation in the offseason? Do we have to tear it down? Are we going to be firing coaches and, trading away players and all this and that? And now Jameis comes in, and it's just that competent quarterback play has revealed that we're not that far off. This is more like a down year. Things haven't gone our way. We had a rough first half where we just couldn't do anything on offense. We had the worst offense in the league. Make a quarterback change, all of a sudden we're explosive, we're fun to watch, and it's like, okay, maybe we don't have the massive gaping holes everywhere that we thought we did. We just needed those pieces to be given, ample opportunity to do what they can do. And like you said, Blake, getting the ball out on time, on target, quickly. I mean, it makes the line better because they're not pass blocking for 3+ seconds. It makes the receivers better because they can actually catch balls that are catchable. And it makes me feel a lot better about things moving forward.
Well, do we want to call it?
I think so.
All right. Well, we appreciate you guys being here. Kenny Mack coming out and doing an episode with us. Kenny's just basically like the fourth dog now. He's the fourth horse. He's our Canadian dog. Yeah. But we appreciate you guys being here, hanging out with us, to all the dog pack members who were in here tonight. And that, Brad, thanks for coming up here and hanging out with us. All you other guys, at least thanks for watching live, making it look like we do have some dog pack members in this for our first episode on Big Play. I know maybe some people are watching the game tonight. Maybe the Cavs game was on. Typically, we have a decent amount of dog pack members in here jumping up on stage, talking and stuff like that. No, but to anybody, this was your first time watching, either on YouTube or if you're checking us out for the first time in the Big Play app, we appreciate you guys. Please like and subscribe. It helps the show out. Again, if you're interested in getting thoughts on the show like this, just head to jointhedawgs.com to become an official Dog Pack member. You play fantasy football with us. We have 5 fantasy football leagues in there. We give away a ton of merch, and we're in this Discord 24/7. So if this is something that interests you, again, that's jointhedawgs.com. We appreciate you guys being here, spending some time with us, even in a down year. And we will see you sometime next week, hopefully talking about a win, or at least not a boring loss. And that's where we're at this year. But again, we appreciate you guys being here, and see you guys next week.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the Dawgs Podcast. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube and follow us on Twitter at the Dawgs Podcast. Get your thoughts on the show at thedawgspodcast.com.
This episode is brought to you by Danger Coffee. Browns fans, we talk about how Danger Coffee is made free from mold toxins that are in 45% of the world's coffee, but that's not all that Danger Coffee has to offer. Mineral and nutrient deficiencies are a big deal. They make you feel sick, tired, stressed, and they can give you brain fog. These deficiencies negatively affect your immune system, your digestion, sleep, metabolism. Have you ever wondered why you get an initial burst from your coffee, but then you get that little crash not long after? Danger Coffee's patent-pending process remineralizes your body with more than 50 trace minerals and electrolytes, leaving you more energized, engaged, powerful. These micronutrients enter the cells to boost performance. They bind to toxins to provide detoxification support. I know that sounds like a lot, but the bottom line, guys, is minerals matter, and most of us really don't get enough of them on a daily basis. Danger Coffee delivers micronutrients, plus it gives you access to the minerals you already have. Head to dangercoffee.com, use our code DAWGS, DAWGS, for 10% off your order, and that code can be used over and over, so you get 10% off every order you make using code DAWGS. It's time to start every day off with a cup of coffee that gets you going and actually keeps you going. DangerCoffee.com, code DAWGS.